Hello and welcome to the Drome transmission, our deep dive G.I. Joe show here on the Master Powercast channel. Our first mission, we're going to be taking a look at the 1985 wave. And when you're looking at this one, you got 20 some odd characters, a few included with some vehicles, but this is prime time. This wave comes out, the cartoon's first season after the miniseries on the air. September 85. So what a time that would have been. You and I were talking before we started recording this, just in general, 1985. The television, the cartoons, the toys, the movies, especially. There's probably a few that come to mind for you right now.
Oh, Rambo 2 and Commando come out in 85, so I often have wondered what it would have been like to have gone to seen those in the theaters, because, I think it was more appropriate to take your kids to go see those movies, than it is today. And like, oh my God, like you go to your local Hills or Best or Toys R Us or KB Toys and like, oh man, I just saw Rambo, I just saw Commando, and I want to get this guy because he'll be my Rambo, or he'll be my John Matrix, and before the Commando toy line would come out, not too long after, and trying to like want to recreate seeing those movies on the screen with the G.I. Joes that were available at that time.
Yeah. So this is a loaded wave, but before we start to go through everyone in alphabetical order that was released in 1985, we're going to start off sort of with our mission statement with this show. And it's basically what you've seen us do with Master Universe. We're going to take that and apply it to the world of G.I. Joe. So you can expect episode reviews of the cartoon, mostly Sunbow. We might dabble in some of the Deke just to see how we're
Pixie and Commandos all the way.
Of course, taking a look at the various waves, vehicles will be separate in that, so we're just strictly taking a look mostly at the figures themselves, but we can always do 85 wave of vehicles, tier list, kumites, comic book flip throughs and reviews. So it's basically going to be Master Powercast with a coat of G.I. Joe paint all over it.
So if you like that army green with that beautiful logo on that army green, which that was always a big thing for me as a kid, like seeing other kids who had G.I. Joe vehicles with anything army green with that sticker on it, I was just drawn to it. Like, oh my God, like that's whatever. I don't know what that is, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
And we both have always been big G.I. Joe fans. Like when we became friends, like once Nathan found out I collected toys, not only saw that I collected He-Man, but G.I. Joe was on display in there too. And he would show me, oh my God, he still has all these G.I. Joes with their weapons and file cards and all this stuff, and made me look like a putz for like, oh my God, like, Nathan's collection like destroys mine. They're not even on display.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit too, because in my whole experience with G.I. Joe has been much like a lot of other properties. So G.I. Joe, along with Ninja Turtles around the time, and to put this out there, Tyler and I were born in 84. So unfortunately, by the time when we're starting to watch it, we're getting those 89, 90 waves. So we're getting version 3 of a character, version 4 of a character. And for me, I was just happy that I had that character. I wasn't thinking like this isn't the one that came out in 83 or 84 or 85. And so a lot of my vintage collection that I have comes from that era. Now, granted, I do have some that are prior to, or like 86 and previous, but for the most part, I haven't jumped back in yet to collecting a lot of these older figures in the line. So much like pretty much anything we've ever talked about over the years on these various shows, bouncing in and out. So watched G.I. Joe religiously as a kid, would rent the tapes, loved watching the movie, big on Sergeant Slaughter as a kid. Years go by, I don't really think about him that much. Become friends with Tyler, start digging the stuff out. Oh, I kept all these file cards. They're all here contained in this little box, which maybe one day we'll have an episode where I'm just going through and showing you everyone that I the file cards, at least. We don't have to pull all the figures out too. But so my knowledge of it, I would say enough, but also at this point, that's kind of the beauty of doing this show now, is it's really got me in the space. I'm like, all right, now I really need to just dig my toes in and remember stuff, learn new things, and watch the Sunbow show in its entirety. And at this point, as of this recording, I got like 25 episodes left. So it's been nice to go through that, and the Deke stuff, which you and I have discussed this before. They would air Sunbow and Deke episodes like back to back sometimes. So to me, I'm just like,
some days it would be a Sunbow Marvel, and other days it'd be Deke. And for me, it was exciting to see the Deke stuff because the characters in that show were available on the toy shelves at the time.
Yep.
So
yeah,
watching the Marvel Sunbow was like a reminder. Oh yeah, you can't get a Flint right now, or you can't get a Cobra Commander, you can't get a Zartan, you can't get a Storm Shadow. At least that was my impression, because you're still learning like who everyone is, and you still think this guy's a bad guy, and that no, they're a good guy, or no, they're kind of neutral. And the comic books were limited to me. Like I only had, I think, 2 of the comics as a kid. It was mainly just whatever toys I get my hands on, and the show, and renting some of the tapes as well. And as you get older, you realize, oh my God, like Cobra Commander's origins, not the Cobra Law, backstory. No, it's the comic books. That's the true backstory to the character. And you start, oh, the comic book's a lot more superior and serious than the cartoon. And why is Storm Shadow fighting Spirit and not Snake Eyes? Like, I don't like that as a kid, like, and then you realize, oh wait, this is quite good, but they still made mistakes here. So it was always a constant learning process, and realizing in my mind, like, okay, thinking it's going to be a certain way. No, it's the complete opposite of that. But still was always drawn for me. It was 88. Getting an Iron Grenadier at Kmart was my first, and I didn't know it was a bad guy or a good guy. Because on the card, it didn't say anything like bad guy or anything. I was just like, what? He looks like a bad guy, but I don't know if he's a good guy or not. And then getting, I think, Countdown, DJ from Battle Force 2000, and Annihilator, Target, and the list goes on and on. Like, and just falling in love with the size. A character that comes with a helmet that you can take off, I thought was so cool.
And the price, the price was always a good thing.
Oh yeah,
because our parents were always, oh yeah, that'll be totally fine, because this is way cheaper.
It's not a $5 premium toy. It's $3, and parents never had a problem buying a GI Joe for me. That was never a real dispute or anything like that.
That's how I ended up with so many, just because the price point, I think, was just a good sweet spot that my parents were fine with it. Sometimes I could get 2 if I wanted to.
Oh, I was never given that luxury. It was always like a birthday gift from like my babysitter.
Okay.
Because she knew me and my brother were big GI Joe nuts, so she would get us GI Joes from time to time. That, along with Turtles or WWF Wrestling by Hasbro at the time as well.
Yeah.
So
88 for you. I think mine feels more 89, around that, maybe 88. I'm not. I couldn't really.
If you got your favorite Joe as a
later.
kid, he was available for 87 and 88, and discontinued in 89, which was Chuckles.
Yeah.
So the chance that Chuckles lingered in stores into 89, and you got him, because I'm trying, because I remember seeing Big Boa and Crystal Ball at a really young age, and was really like taken by those characters, like the visual of both of them, and I'm just thinking like, okay, well, they were not mine. They were other people's toys. And I saw them like, oh my God, like, who's that? And seeing Serpentor and the Battle Android Trooper in daycare, other kids had them, and like, who is that? And, and just being overwhelmed with wondering who these characters are. And no, it's G.I. Joe, but you don't know anything about it. It's just these little cool action figures that are heavily articulated. The villains look amazing. The heroes look badass, and it just left you just wanting more, especially because you could keep them in your pocket because they were small, and you could use them anywhere. I feel like they were such an action figure that you could take on the road with you and play with in the car, and not feel like you have to have a certain play set. There's something universal about G.I. Joe figures to me as a kid. I didn't feel like I had to have, like with He-Man, I needed Castle Grayskull, Snake Mountain, but with GI Joes, like I had no playset. You had to come up with my own playset, and I had to think. Maybe that's because it was. I had no GI Joe playsets, maybe one or two vehicles as a child, and that was
I was the same way. A couple of vehicles. I have some that are in storage that I could probably dig out, but other than that, it was just strictly the figures.
Yeah, and I was always interested with vehicles that came with figures.
Yeah,
because that was a novelty to me. Like, oh my god, you get a vehicle and a figure. And I remember specifically buying, I think it was the Cobra jetpack. I think is what it was. And Crystal Ball was on the box. And I got it at Hills thinking I was going to get a Crystal Ball figure with that because I just assumed, well, some of these vehicles come with figures. So we get it home, open it up, and there's no Crystal Ball in there. And I'm like, well, I'll just deal with this, jetpack. And, I was kind of underwhelmed. There was no Crystal Ball figure in there. And then I wouldn't get a Crystal Ball figure till I was, an adult. So people out there who like to shit all over that character, if you listen to our He-Man episodes of the year when G.I. Joe comes up, I'm a big fan of the 87 wave. The one wave that I think a lot of hardcore G.I. Joe fans fucking hate.
Mm-hmm.
With Crocmaster, Big Boa, Crystal Ball, Raptor. But then you have characters like Falcon, Tunnel Rat, Outback, who are two personal favorites of mine. But I'm a big stickler for the 87 wave because of guys like that. I think they have a great fit in the mythology. I just when we get around to discussing that wave, I even thought about making that the first topic. We just come out of the gate and discuss the most controversial wave. I was like, no. Well, let's stick with something that is universally loved by.
Let's build up a little bit of a fan base for this show
before
first,
and then we'll say these guys are all about that wave, man. Fuck this show.
Yeah, but with saying that, there's a lot for me to learn here, so I'm very excited that we get to do this and push forward, and I get to, like I said, not only learn new stuff, but maybe reignite some of the old memories. So,
God, and it's something that, I have a deep passion about. I think for you and I both, we both put G.I. Joe as like top tier of like toy lines with, for me, it's He-Man, Thundercats, and then it's a tie between Turtles and G.I. Joe because, and I played with G.I. Joe the longest as a child. Like when I'm starting to outgrow playing with action figures, G.I. Joe stuck with me past everything else.
Man,
I wanted to collect He-Man, but I still wanted to play with G.I. Joe. And I did that probably until my early teens where I liked posing them and I liked fiddling around, like, not like 14, 13 years old, but I think hitting 5th grade, maybe starting middle school, it's starting to kind of phase out, but I still liked them. I just thought they were the posability, I thought was awesome. And even though there were, at that point, you're starting to see some characters that look really bad, and other times you're like, okay, hey, it's a new Dr. Mindbender. It doesn't look like the original, but hey, it's Dr. Mindbender, and I'll, take what you can get, kind of thing. But yeah, I just thought like the posability is what I think kept me drawn to still wanting to handle them and not just set them on a shelf and look at them. Like, man, these things are still fucking awesome, man. And it'll be fun to share stories as we go along with our memories of, the arcade game, the Nintendo games, the merchandise, the cartoons, people we knew who were also into it as kids, sharing, memories of discussing G.I. Joe with other kids and stuff like that.
Actually, that was a luxury I didn't have. I didn't talk G.I. Joe with that. None of the kids that I was around never mentioned it or really into it or didn't really bring their toys to school either. So
that's shocking because some of my earliest memories, like my mom's best friend, her daughter was a big G.I. Joe nut, like fanatic. Like she collected G.I. Joe through like the early years. So when I would go over and I would see like who she had, it was, oh my God, these characters that I had never had access to. I knew who they were, but like, oh my God, like, you got this, you got him, and you got Xandar, and and she was nice. Oh, I got doubles here. I'll give you a Xandar. I'll give you Snow Serpent. I'll give you a mainframe. Just because oh my God, what a big fucking deal that was to get those characters that were not admitted. And a buddy I went to church with, he was a G.I. Joe nut. That was his thing, was G.I. Joe, and He's the one that told me to steal Cobra Commander from the nursery. Because I didn't have a Cobra Commander, and the Battle Armor Cobra Commander from 1987, which was the Cobra Commander in the Deke animated series for the first season.
Yeah,
that was what was in the nursery, and he's like, "You can take that. Don't worry about it, dude." Like, so nonchalant, and I'm thinking like, "All right," and I pocket it, and and that was my Cobra Commander for childhood. Was one I stole from my church. Because I didn't have it. Like, it's the one in the cartoon. I gotta have this.
Yeah. It's
so,
it's kind of crazy that ends up being in like the church toy box.
The Cobra Hiss Tank was and David Hasselhoff's Knight Rider and Kit.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It just seems like G.I. Joe would be something that a church would just kind of shun and be like, this I don't like what they're doing here.
Well, I think back then too, like, it wasn't like there was a mass amount of like action oriented toys. It still was a nursery and a church, so there was like baby toys and stupid shit like that. But the Hiss Tank
toys.
Yeah.
Babies don't need toys to play with.
Yeah, I was like, but I didn't know what the Hiss Tank was for a while. Like, I saw it and I'm like, what is this? And you would play with it before you realize, oh, that's the Hiss Tank. And
let me just put this in my pocket.
Yeah, put this in my back pocket. Just showed up my shirt here. And another thing that's kind of tied in with church that was the common toy that me and my brother would take with us to church to play with during the sermon. It was after Sunday school, we run out to the car and get our G.I. Joes and run back in. So during the sermon, we sit down on the floor at the pew and reenact G.I. Joe battles.
Quietly.
And one of the guys who would sit behind, he leaned and said, "Who we got here?" And he wanted to know like the characters we were playing with. And that's a vivid memory I have. Like, getting to the church, I'm playing with G.I. Joe during so many church sermons as a kid.
Yeah, it's like, oh, who you got there? Lifeline? Oh, he fucking sucks.
Yeah. It's just, sometimes it's like, dude, just leave me alone here, man. I'm trying to have a battle here. Like, and look, hindsight, he thought it was cool that we're two young boys playing with action figures, and he was just kind of wanting to have fun with us and talk to us. But I'm just like, I'm busy here.
How often were you told to be quiet?
Oh, we were quiet.
Okay.
We were not. We knew, like, naturally, like, we're
not. Yeah, you're gonna be too loud, then you can't.
Yeah, it was anymore, if it was always like, the sound effects were made quieter in your head. Punches like, it's all in your head because if we were kind of getting silly, Mom would look at us and look at us like, all right, with a smile on her face, like, all right, quiet now, kids, and. So we were never reprimanded for playing because it kept us quiet and we always behaved. So
yeah, because I mean, to be fair, being that age at church, that's got to be boring.
Always, and as a child, like you got to go to Sunday school. Like, more school, sing songs.
Yeah.
It was like just give me the Smurf cookies and the Teddy Grahams. All right, enough of this. It's like, now we go sit in here for an hour. Like, I just want to go home and watch wrestling at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it was, but Mom and Dad were really cool about us just playing with our action figures. It was G.I. Joe and Turtles at that time. So
okay,
it kept us occupied. And there were some fun memories of church and G.I. Joe.
I'm glad as a kid I never had to go to church and have to deal with the boredom and taking figures to play with to do that. But
yeah, it was. But that's how I got what taught G.I. Joe with Travis, who was the kid that told me to steal Cobra Commander. Like, we became he was like my church buddy because he liked G.I. Joe, so we would talk G.I. Joe and
so he didn't take it for himself because he already had one.
Probably so, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because that was his thing. I remember going to one of his birthday parties, and G.I. Joe was like the stuff he was getting, like the board game, one of the board games, and some of the other stuff too, and which was like just really cool, like to see. And to tie back into He-Man, that's where I saw Terror Claw Skeletor for the first time. Was at his house. I'm like, what is this? I've never seen this before. Yeah,
that's kind of the beauty of back then. It's just the discovery and just. Shit just shows up and you're like, oh, what is this? Yeah, that was a way better time.
Oh, of course. And it just remembers too, another kid named Justin who I was friends with at church. I went over to his house to play, and him and his brother had Outback, and that's the first time I saw Outback. It's like, who's the guy that looks like Chuck Norris?
Yeah.
He's got a headband on, and like, who's that? And I just knew it was a GI Joe. And like, and they were big into GI Joes also, and Battle Beast, you know, and just going to other kids' houses, saying they had all these toys I don't have, and or characters I don't know who they are, and you just those constant experiences of seeing what other people have. Like, who's that? I need to know who that is, and I need to know what she is, and that's what kept this, you know, the snowball effect of fandom for 80s toys going all these years.
See, I'm glad that you remember most of this stuff, because there are things that I'm sure that over time, as we go on this journey of discussing GI Joe more often now, is things will probably start to come to me, I hope. But a lot of it just seems kind of lost time. Now, there are quite a few things, and I don't want to divulge it all, because I'm like, that's all my material and it's gone now. But I will say, like, arcade game, yes. Both of the Nintendo games, absolutely got one of them for a birthday present, and that's something I want to talk about at like a later date. I would actually kind of like to do a show where I'm actually playing the games, and you and I are just.
I would recommend you do that. Whether you can do a mod of the arcade game or the Nintendo or the Atlantis Attacks, like the other, I think it didn't Capcom. Konami did one and Capcom did the other, right?
The first one, maybe it was Konami, but the first one,
I think because the first one, because you could pick which Joe you wanted to play. Is I think the Atlantis Attack is like you had to play
the Atlantis Factor.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But the first game I only went to, so it was like, I'm trying to remember the relationship that was there. It's like my dad's coworker, and my mom would babysit her kids. So sometimes I would go over there, and the son had a Nintendo, and he had that first G.I. Joe game, and I would sit and I would watch him play it. Of course, he wouldn't let me play, but I watched him.
I can relate to that as well.
Yeah, and enjoyed it. But Atlantis Factor, a couple years later, got for a birthday present that my aunt actually got and used her discount, because she worked at Rose's at the time, used her discount to get me to get that game. So that was a birthday gift. But yeah, I think at some point maybe we do an episode where it's like this, but then simultaneously I put the games on and I'm like playing them a little bit, and you and I are just having a conversation about it. But that's our mission statement. That's us telling a few stories. Let's go ahead, man. Let's jump in.
Let's dive into this ass kicking wave, dude.
So,
which honestly, for Joe fans, I'm gonna sit there and say, like, up until you get like knee deep in the '90s, there isn't a bad wave of GI Joe.
I don't think there is either.
No, from the very beginning all the way up to where, you know, Eco Wars gets introduced, and that's just because of the beating over your head with, you know, save the environment, you know, over and I mean, just choking kids, like, save the fucking environment,
save the planet.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my God, would you just get the fuck out of here with the preaching shit? But you know, that's an argument for another day.
Yeah. So what we're going to be taking a look at mostly here is just the card art themselves, and a couple of the vehicles that came with a figure that Tyler had mentioned earlier. So this is all going to be in alphabetical order. So starting here, we have Airtight.
I like this card art. It's a great looking figure too. I if I had him as a kid, he definitely probably would have been played with a lot, because I'm sure I wouldn't have understood what he was for. Because even when I saw him in the cartoon, I didn't know what his purpose was, because I didn't see him in too many appearances as a kid based on the rotation of episodes. So just to kind of be an asshole, that's what he did in the cartoon. But it's a great visual. Like the card art by Hector is just it's. I mean, one of those things we can say about this, the guys who worked on the box art and the card art, Hector and Doug, did fucking phenomenal job. Whether you like the character or not, the card art always delivered. And sold you on it. Like if I was just buying GI Joes, and I think I did this more often than not, a lot of it just came up to looking at the card art and be like, oh, this guy looks cool, not knowing anything about it. It's like, I like the way he looks, let's just add it to the collection. Originally,
We were going to tier list these, but that seemed really pointless because most of these are just fantastic anyway.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you could argue the pose is maybe not the best on some of them, but still, like the delivery of the character is always 100%. It's never phoned in. You know, it's the quality is consistent throughout this entire wave, whether you like the character or not. Yeah. Oh fuck yeah, Alpine!
Yeah, Alpine is a great character.
Oh my god, yes. The figure looks great, and the card art's even more badass.
Yeah, showing him what he does best.
Yeah, Mountain Trooper. Just I hate that I never had him as a kid, or I didn't know anyone who did, or as like a hand me down. Like, hey, I don't play with him anymore. You can have him. You know, it just he was such a staple for me in the cartoon. I feel like I saw so many episodes with Alpine in it, and I just was naturally like drawn to that character as like a G.I. Joe staple, in my opinion. Like he was just made part of the core cast, and I still like if I was like, hey Tyler, who would we're going to do a new show? Assemble like your main core cast. Like, you know, I would make sure Alpine is like a regular because I just liked his portrayal on the show and just the visual. But then I also felt like too, like it wouldn't be a true G.I. Joe show unless you were going to like make sure, okay, we have a jungle adventure. Okay, well, Alpine's more meant for mountain stuff, and the Sumbo Marvel series would kind of throw in anybody and everybody into every situation. Mountain troopers are flying airplanes, and land guys are flying sea vehicles. Like everyone could do anything in G.I. Joe.
Yeah,
like Sky Strikers, you can draw all strikers. You know,
that's what makes the vast majority of the characters in G.I. Joe, the cartoon, awesome because they multitask and could do anything really. Yeah.
And it's not. But I something I just want to go ahead and say too about as we dig into this. When people say like, oh, we've already got a guy who does this, like you tell me you want one guy, one specialist to handle all snow Arctic missions, one guy to handle only one guy to handle the mountain stuff, one guy to handle jungle stuff. Don't you need a team? And that's why I always felt like when people say, well, you know, it's kind of redundant. Like, no, man, have gradually over the years assembling guys who are explosive experts or, you know, heavy artillery, like roadblock, rock and roll and heavy duty, like the guys that like the heavy machine gunners. Like, why would you want just one of those guys?
Yeah.
You know, I would want at least have one guy in each group who could handle heavy artillery like that. Fuck yeah, dude. So barbecue. I think as a kid, had I had him, I'd have been like, I don't know what he does, but he looks awesome because of the outfit. Like he's a firefighter, and like he's the snout spout of G.I. Joe.
Yeah, and with his Boston accent.
Yeah.
How do you feel about his voice in the show?
It's not as
it's not the best.
No, it's not as macho because when I see the character and it's a very like kind of, it sounds like a father from Boston, like a TV sitcom father from Boston. You know, he doesn't have like this kind of like tough guy bravado, which I know like with the children's cartoon in the 80s, not everybody's going to sound like the toughest guy on the planet, but I you know, you can have different personalities with the cast, but I feel like everyone should have a voice that's to be taken seriously.
Yeah. And
even though I like Barbecue a lot when he would show up in the cartoon, but his voice is just not as, you know.
Well, there's the I can't remember the title of the specific episode, but it's when a lot of the crew are going and visiting family, and then their relatives get captured and brainwashed.
Yeah.
And Barbecue's there, and it's like he's fighting a fire with his dad, but then his dad gets kidnapped. Or he thinks that his dad's trapped in the house, but it's like, oh, we got him out and everything. And it's like, oh, he's doing okay. All right, well, I got to go. And then he just bounces. But his voice isn't overly offensive to me at all. It's just,
it's like Barbecue's likable. When I sit there and say like he's not like macho, he's like Flint and even Duke. You know, like I love their voices. Like they command.
Yeah.
You know, the group, which is what they should. They're the leaders of the group. You know, until you know General Hawk and you know Beachhead are introduced in season 2, in terms of like putting voices to the characters. You know, like they've got the right voice tempo. Like, okay, when you're going to go in the pecking order, the guys that kind of are leading this group of special forces, like they all have a very commanding voice, like their presence, their visual, like, yeah, those guys would be in charge. And
when it comes to barbecue, do you prefer this look or do you like his Marauders blue?
Oh, this one. There are some variants that look cool, but barbecues look with the kind of orange red with the black, and the helmet too looks amazing. I think he has such a great visual for a firefighter. He makes one kick-ass looking firefighter, dude. He really does, man. I think he just looks. Yeah, that's
definitely a great choice on the art, having him holding the axe.
Oh, holding the axe. Yeah, it's a great vision, and not in a threatening manner. Just like he's prepared for action. Oh, bazooka. Oh, I love me some bazooka.
Yeah. The lovable kind of a bit of a doofus, but he's lovable.
But he's you can depend on him though, and
oh, absolutely. It's like we don't have a way out of this room. Yeah, of course we do.
Yeah. And a trademark for me as a kid was his football jersey. I just thought that was such a cool touch. I love that. I love that. That's what any of the characters that wore something sports attire as a kid, I just thought was really cool. Not knowing what sport it was from, but they're just wearing some sort of sports jersey.
It makes him stand out amongst other kind of, I don't want to say generic, but when you look at some other characters, they all have more of that uniform military look. So having the jersey on makes him.
And I like that break, because I think some fans will sit there and say, like, this doesn't look like a member of the military special forces, like, but that's the point. I want them to have their own, not only their own personality, but their own unique look. And sometimes they got crazy as we get way into the line. But for a look like him or the Fridge or Hardball or even Big Lob, like, they're wearing sport themes, or Captain Gridiron, who's all football.
Yeah.
With football grenades and the football helmet and everything. But it still looked cool. It's I buy that. Like, I wouldn't make Captain Gridiron my number one. As a kid, I thought he was fucking awesome though. But and I wasn't even into football. I was like, oh, he's fucking cool, dude. But I love Bazooka's look with the Army helmet, the Army green pants, but he's wearing the football jersey. I just think it looks so cool on him.
And the mustache, obviously.
The mustache, that's a trademark of his.
Really ties it all together.
Yeah, beautiful artwork. Oh, my favorite Dreadnought as a kid was Buzzer. Absolutely, and beautiful artwork of him. Yeah.
I'll just put my hair in a ponytail. I'll be.
Oh, yeah. You'd be Buzzer for sure.
You could be a road pig.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take road. I'll get me like the big fucking like center block hammer and the football pads and the crossbow on the arm.
So you said your favorite as a kid.
Yeah. As an adult, Torch is I think become my. I don't know why. I think I just had a just this kind of natural, like, okay, for some reason I like Torch, because I guess I kind of see him, even though Zartan's the leader of the Dreadnoughts, like when Zartan's not around, I kind of saw Torch as the kind of de facto like leader of the trio until the group gets bigger and bigger.
That's one of the best parts going into season 2 is just the expansion of the Dreadnoughts.
Oh yeah. It's a faction you just love to see. Oh, a new Dreadnought.
Yeah. This guy wants to join up too. Oh, and he's got a vehicle, so yeah, of course they're gonna let him in.
Yeah, fucking cool. But Buzzer, I just, something about him, like the blonde hair, the glasses, and the chainsaw, I just thought he was just without question, he was my favorite as a kid.
I'm trying to think, like, when I had a few of the Dreadnoughts as a kid, maybe it was Buzzer that really stood out to me the most. I don't know though. Maybe it could have been Torch too.
Cobra Eel. Boy, I didn't give my left nut to have that as a kid. Such a kick-ass visual, dude.
Yeah,
man.
Great color scheme. Just something about that gray with the black and
that touch of red in the center there, and the card art like just makes the Cobra Eel look so menacing, like adding the scowl in the eyes, like, we're up to no good here. Don't know what they're up to, but it's like it's almost like he's posed underwater, like his legs are crouched up, like he's in this in a pose, like looking back at deep six, approaching a shark or something like that. It's like, you're too late, Joes. We've already won or something like that.
And something that you and I will probably mention a lot is the fact that we would have loved to not only have had these figures, but army build them as well.
God.
So you just had to settle with one because your parents wouldn't let you have multiples of them. It's like, but there are multiples on the show, and that's the beauty of being an adult now and having adult money, is you can
do what you you only dreamed of as a kid, and you see it in the commercials, like oh man, I gotta have more than one. This might be close to my favorite vehicles. This is one I do own complete, and Crankcase is the driver of it, and just something about this buggy with the cage on it, and where you can pose, you can put 4 figures on there, 2 sitting in the seats, and then 2 guys one on each side there, holding their firearm, ready, going into battle.
He's got a good team with him, having Gung Ho and Dusty there.
Fuck yeah, he does. It's beautiful box art, and Driver the All Striker, Crankcase is top notch in my opinion on that. Yeah.
And unfortunately, on some of these pictures that show the box art, the figure is not in here. So
but hey, he's on the box. So
yeah. And I got to mention too, all these images pulled from 3djoes.com. Link will be down below in the description. Go to that website. It's a fantastic source for just pretty much everything
G.I. Joe fan. I'm sure you're already aware who they are. So
absolutely.
When they constantly just move more traffic towards them, it's a beautiful website. Look at that, $10 back in that Child World or Children's Palace, which I guess I never got to go to either. I never heard of any of those until I got a little bit older.
That is all news to me. I've never even heard of any of that. So.
Yeah, I'm like, man, it's hard to imagine what other toy stores were out there that were not made, that we were outside Toys R Us, K&K, and KB Toys. And then
I just honestly remember too a good portion of my GI Joes getting them at the pharmacy. Like anytime my mom had to go pick up prescriptions.
Yes, there were GI Joes at the pharmacy.
Can I get a GI Joe? Oh yeah, that'll be fine. It's only I think at one point they had some of them that were only like $2.50. It's like, yeah, let's jump in and get this for $2.50. Or if we took my grandma to the pharmacy, she would buy me a GI Joe instead of mom. It's like, oh yes, and it would be like, it'd be in the summer. And it'd be like a weekday. So it's like, for me, that's out of my element because I'm used to just going on the weekends and going to Hills or whatever. Because that's most of the time when we went to the bigger department store. So summertime on a Tuesday, let's go to the Rite Aid. Grandma's like, hey, you want an action figure? Absolutely. We'll go pick one out. And then you're sitting there. That time, more of a rush. You and I have talked before. My dad never really rushed me, but in this situation, it was like a bomb's about to go off, and you got to like clip the wire.
Yeah, you're sitting there sweating profusely. Oh my god, I got to make the right choice here. What do I do? Come on, Nathan, we gotta go.
Yeah, so that was more of a high pressure situation. But once again, there's one of those memories that kind of was locked behind, and now seeing this and talking about it, it's like, you know what? I remember when
the dam is starting to break open here for Nathan. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Crimson Guard.
I love me some Crimson Guard. I mean, just all the troopers really. There's not weak ones in my opinion. Design.
No, even further on, like to me, it's like a troop better is a troop better. I didn't care what their specialty was. It was like a new soldier for to pretend like I've got multiples of in my mind, or and I again, this was one I never had, didn't see, and I didn't see the Crimson Guard Immortal, which was like the I think it came out like 91, I think, or maybe 92. Never saw that one either. So it was just strictly in the cartoon, and I was aware of the Crimson Guard, and that was it. So, top tier illustration. It's just like, we're just, again, it's gonna sound redundant because it's just nothing but ass kickers, and
that's why we didn't do a tier list on these.
Yeah, It become just kind of repetitive and like, okay, yeah, we get it. Ah, Dusty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The traitor.
Great action pose.
He's a traitor.
Yeah. I look forward to you and I when we revisit that episode for a discussion at some point.
Yeah. And because looking back at it too, of some of the episodes that you and I have covered over the years on various shows, a lot of those were the standouts in my big long rewatch that I've been taking on. I'm like, yeah, no wonder Tyler would pick these out for us to check out, because amongst the bunch, these really do kind of stand out to be like the best of the best.
I'm not crazy for liking the Funhouse.
Yeah, it's not a bad episode at all.
Fuck no.
But yeah, like just the little touches like this, like you said, having helmets that you can put on them and take off of them. And,
even though like Dusty, like his stays on, but it was still like any figure that you could take a helmet off and on, I thought was just
like any kind of modification stuff that you could do to it, or just the simple fact that
like he's got cloth like that, with his helmet there.
What is so that I wish I could tell you right now what is kind of packed in with some of these inside special offer.
Do you remember speaking of special? Do you remember the Joes? I think it was '88. That someone would come with these micro figures.
No,
they were these little teeny little pack-in figures, and they had a poster, like a checklist poster of all the characters that were available. And maybe it was '89, but there was a run of these little, but a little bit bigger than a quarter, maybe about the size of a silver dollar, of these like already they're just a set pose little mini figures. Oh my god! See, I
don't remember that, but I definitely, of course, remember the checklist. I think I have one of those like fold out poster checklist things. I still have one of those. I have a couple of those things that are packed inside with the file cards, and that stuff I need to dig out and show off on a future episode of Terror Drome.
I see now. I'm like, I cannot.
Now you
we keep.
It, huh?
I just have got to find like. Shit, I don't want to meet like dead air or anything like that.
No, you're fine. But what I'll do here is I will once you do find it, I'll put it up on the screen for people to see what you're talking about. Because maybe if I see it, it would like trigger.
Because I want to say, I thought many years ago I had brought that up to you, and
I don't know. Shit, I might even have some.
Here they are. Yes,
just never paid attention to them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is just one random picture. I think this. Yeah, this is like a. Here's the poster. Fuck, I'll just send you the poster.
Okay.
If we're talking GI Joe here, this is the most appropriate time to do this. There you go. Oh my favorite leader right there.
Let's talk about that. Oh, okay. Yeah, the micro figures. I don't recall having any of these, but who knows? Maybe I could dig in the old painted ammo box that Dad did, and there might be like one hidden in there. But I don't remember
to know how much those things are on eBay, because I remember I only had a couple of them. I think I had Destro, Wetsuit, and I forgot who else. I only had
look at the picture again.
Yeah. Destro, Wetsuit, and I feel like there was one other one, but I remember looking at the poster as a kid, like, oh my god, I want him. And there were certain characters I did recognize before I knew it. Like I wanted Quick Kick. Oh my god, I know who that is.
Yeah.
I wanted Quick Kick, and definitely Snake Eyes, and Major Blood. So it was just like, it was a fun little pack-in thing just to collect, and I'd love to get me a collection of those things.
So Flint is your favorite leader?
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah,
and mine too. This was I had a GI Joe Band-Aids with that card art on the box. That was as close as I ever got to owning Flint.
There is something though about his picture on this, like that to me that doesn't. I don't. It doesn't look like Flint to me when I look.
To me, he looks very.
Kind of looks like Ronald Reagan right here.
Oh, he's got a very, very chiseled face, and I like that. I almost feel like he's going, "Yo, Joe!" Like,
well, of course,
like he just kicked some ass there. So and for me, when I saw it, I was like, he looked so much like the cartoon, but the colors were off. and that's because the cartoon was,
Mm-hmm.
what I based it on. But I'm like, that's Flint. So
So
I'm the shirt's black, and
your leaders from favorite to least favorite. How would you rank it between Flint, Duke, Hawk, and Beachhead?
Flint, Beachhead, Hawk, then Duke.
Duke last.
Yeah.
Why Duke last?
Because his outfit's not. It just looks like he's ready for office work. Hawk looks like he's ready for battle. Beachhead fucking always looks like he's ready for battle. The same thing with Flint. I just yeah. Even as
that's fun. It's funny that like it goes down in that way just based off of attire and not how well they lead.
Well, and that's that stems from childhood. Like I see Duke and he looks like everyone else looks like they're battle ready. And Duke's a great character. Don't get me wrong. Like I love Michael Bell's performance as Duke, and I'm like, you couldn't have anyone leading G.I. Joe with other than Duke, outside General Hawk as like the top tier leader. So yeah, I would always want to have Duke as the leader. But whenever you see certain episodes, Duke's leading a group. Another episode, Flint's leading a group, and that's how I base it. Like, okay, I like the episodes where Flint's leading the charge.
I would agree with that wholeheartedly. And because in my rewatch, I'm done with season 1. I just finished the Rise of Ventura Rise mini series episodes to kick off season 2. So when it comes to Beachhead, I can't give my ranking just yet because I want to see more Beachhead, but I like Beachhead a lot.
Yeah.
There's something about Hawk, and let's talk about this. It seems kind of jarring when you get to season 2 because you've gone along this ride on season 1 where it's been Flint and Duke leading the charge on most of these missions in the episodes. We get to season 2, it's like Hawk shows up and he's just telling everybody how shit they are, and we got to have Slaughter come in and whip them into shape. Yeah. And I'm like, I kind of takes the piss out of Flint and Duke a little bit, and it didn't piss me off, but I'm just like, no, these guys are great as they are. Why? Who are you? And it's like, oh, well, the pecking order says that it's Hawk, then Duke, then Flint, then Beachhead.
Yeah. Because Beachhead in that episode is calling everyone out for being just everyone's fucking lazy and not doing the job. And pacifist and GI Joe. What's this outfit come to? But but in the comic book, see, I wasn't aware that of that because the comic book in the very beginning already established Hawk as the leader of G.I. Joe. But for me, again, was not as accessible. So when I see the cartoon, it's Duke and Flint. And then on occasion, season 2 episodes would fall into the rotation, not too often. So it was a big deal to see Beachhead and Hawk. But I think for the majority of my time, I looked at Flint and Duke as the 2 leaders of G.I. Joe because of the rotation of episodes. And then I saw when the G.I. Joe trading cards come out and the advertisements for it in the comic books, it showed Snake Eyes and Hawk, but Hawk has blonde hair. I'm like, wait a second. He's dressed like General Hawk, but he looks like Duke. And it confused the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Like, that's not General Hawk.
Yeah.
That's Duke.
And speaking of the comic books, because you mentioned earlier that you only had a few. I had a lot as a kid, but at the same time, being that age, I hadn't quite really mastered reading, so I'm just looking at the pictures. So comic book wise, I don't remember much, if anything, about them other than the covers. So I'm actually very much looking forward, since those compendiums are out now, starting those, reading those, and really gaining the knowledge and seeing like the differences here between the comics and the cartoon. The obvious one, of course, is the comics treat it way more serious than what we get.
Oh yeah.
In the show. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Like season 2, you come up on that and just Hawk kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit at the start. And that makes sense given the field that we're talking about with it being military. Of course, he probably needs to be that type of hard ass.
He needs to be a hard ass.
I know, but I just like, hey, don't discredit Flint and Duke, man. Where have you been this whole time? You just show up and tell everyone they suck? Fuck you.
I get your perspective. I was like, shouldn't be, giving Lifeline some bullshit.
Yeah, like just kick him out of the Joes, but stay off my man Flint. But I agree with you. Flint is my favorite, easily, of the bunch. dare say maybe like my favorite Joe overall. Right now, hey, the window of opportunity for that to change is certainly there. But just watching all those episodes, I'm like, Flint is the man. Like Duke's good, but Flint is the shit.
Fuck yeah, he is.
Oh, Footloose.
Surfer dude.
And that's the other thing. It wasn't as prevalent prior. And then I watched that one episode, and I was like, what happened to Footloose? Why does he sound like a moron?
Yeah, and yet you look at that, like, this looks like a legit tough guy. Like, it's such a great visual. The figure itself looks like a classic military, like special forces, member. And again, that's just them deciding we're going to go with this goofy ass attitude.
And I get that
to add personality.
Yeah, you want to add some diversity to everyone. It's like, oh well, we should have a guy that sounds like this. You got to think too around this time. Ninja Turtles is about to blast off in the stratosphere, close to
ish. It's not far off from that. But
it's not far off, but you would have these characters that have that archetype to them, so they're probably like, we need this.
Well, see, if you're gonna do a rock and roll, who is a surfer like that? He's from I think from L.A. and one of his hobbies is he loves surfing.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't want to see rock and roll talk like like Bill and Ted from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, but I feel like anybody's been making references to surfing and just kind of have that kind of hang ten mentality, kind of like maybe like boating, like Patrick Swayze, like low key, even keel, and just have a philosophical like perspective about stuff like would have been rock and roll. And Footloose, just you look at him, you feel like this is a no nonsense guy. This guy's like ready to dive into the muck of things and just.
And instead, he's like, "Oh, we should meditate first." I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, fuck you, man. Like, yeah, no.
But that being said, if the opportunity to get the figure would have been presented to me as a kid, I still would have been all over it.
Oh God, yeah, me too.
It's just it's a shame how they altered his character, like midway through season 1, because his other appearances aren't like that at all. I was actually kind of digging him a little bit when he would show up. But then they did that, and I was like, nope, nope, ruined it. And here we have
Snowcat,
with Frostbite. And as you mentioned before, why it's like, oh, Snowjob's the only guy that can be like an Arctic trooper. It's like, no, like you want to have a team
who handles these kinds of missions. And you've got the polar battle bears, like the small like snow vehicle, and you get other vehicles down the line, but this like being the like a vehicle that would work not only just in the snow but on land as well too, but one that is designated for the snow that would carry a variety of snow troops into battle, to battle the Cobra snow serpents or whoever else is causing shit. And for it to just be like Snowdrop and Frostbite, and well, that's it. Like, I mean, you put Snake Eyes in any situation. Snake Eyes can kick ass in every environment. He's like the most versatile G.I. Joe. Like, he looks good in every environment, no matter what it is. So seeing him riding shotgun with Frostbite, I just thought was really cool.
Even when he's cross-dressing at a club.
Oh, God, we're not going into that. Fuck.
Now, the one thing that is humorous though about Snake Eyes in the cartoon is when he is in another outfit, but it's still Snake Eyes. You're just like, no one not going to notice this.
Yeah.
I love that running gag. It's also nice to see Alpine back here too.
I agree. Yeah. And I kind of Alpine is a believable, like you could see on a like if you were really trying to be realistic based on everyone's specialty. I feel like I could see Alpine, working in the snowy atmosphere with mountains and things like that.
I could see him doing it, but not being happy about it.
Yeah, probably not.
Is this is next on your list, right? You were wanting to get a Snowcat and get.
Absolutely, I want to get a complete Snowcat, and I'd love to assemble like all the various like vintage snow like troopers, like get a Snow Job, Iceberg, Blizzard, Sub-Zero, I think Avalanche from Battle Force 2000. and just assemble like an all snow, because it's a great looking vehicle. And what's so cool is that the front of it has like this frosted windshield, like, so you have like the wiper goes across the windshield, and it looks like it's clearing just this section, like you see it on the car on the box art.
Yeah,
that frosted windshield is on the actual windshield itself to kind of show like you're like frostbite's driving, so he's the windshield's cleared off just for him to see.
Yeah, it's small little touches like that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful vehicle. So I would very much like to get this complete and build a snow crew for that.
Yeah, and then you could get like some cotton or some stuffing and just like put it on it and make like a little snow, and get you some snow serpents. And and have it like maybe have one like under the treads getting run over or something.
Yeah.
Here's heavy metal. So heavy metal. I honestly don't know too much about heavy metal. So
well,
do you have much of an opinion on him?
No, but he pilots one of the most badass looking tanks. So I mean, to me, that makes him a badass in my opinion.
With 2 forward speeds, batteries not included.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder.
The commercial for that, it's a fun commercial, like seeing the Mauler in action, like that it could go back and forth like that.
I do kind of wonder though, like how long the battery lasted being in there.
I think knowing me, I would only use it sparingly, because I would like to kind of control like how the tank would go if I owned one. I wouldn't rely on it to move on its own. Oh boy, Jesus Christ!
Here's a Kill Hall with the flag, which if you were lucky enough to own this as a kid, 7.5 feet. So I hope you had the space for it. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, I think about the kids who were fortunate enough, like, to be alive in '85, like with He-Man running with its most popular. Thundercats is on the scene now. Transformers is in its second year, and you got this. How the fuck do you decide, like, what do you want to ask Santa Claus for with all the shit that's coming out? And
so my dad, pretty much in the height of my collecting G.I. Joe and watching the cartoon all the time, my dad just bought like it was a decently sized ship, but obviously just one of those cheaper knockoff toys. And that's what I pretended was the flag.
Oh, hey, I've been happy to have that then.
I did, yeah. I loved it. I got it. And I'm like, yeah, it's not the flag, but it doesn't have to be. This works perfectly with the playtime scenarios that I'm working in my brain right now.
I never saw it as a kid, but I knew of a kid who had this and the Three Towers.
God.
And he was an only child. So
of course.
Yeah.
You thought you would have to be to get both of those. Jeez.
Yeah. And I wouldn't see this Holy Grail in person until like seeing it at Happy's Flea Market.
Just display only, huh?
Display only, and like, you can't afford it, but don't even ask me.
They really said that to you?
No, I just
that's how you felt.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Not that I was gonna ask anyway. I was like, fuck,
Honestly, I think what would be cool these days is if you had a 3D printer, just like print your own flag.
Yeah, that'd have been awesome. Given the places that came out with G.I. Joe, I don't know if I was given a choice, like the G.I. Joe headquarters, the Mobile Command Center, the Defiant, the Flag, the Drome, and then you got some of the ones in the '90s too. I don't know which one I would pick. Like you all right, Tyler, we're going to give you access. Pick one mitten box for you to put on display however you want. And like, I have such high ties to the Defiant, but a rocket ship is
probably the Command Center for me. That's probably what I would go with.
The first place set, or like the Mobile Command Center, like came out in '87, like had like the multiple layers that it looked like the Jawa like Sandcrawler, but it just would open up to have these multiple layers.
Probably that one then. I don't know. That's tough. Because it's like instinct would be go with the Flag because it's the biggest out of all of them. But then space would be an issue.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about that was the fun thing for us with G.I. Joe is how portable it was. So maybe you would want to go something a little bit smaller so it's not taking up as much space. I don't know.
I think
I,
it's always
I
gonna
was
be
an only child though, so I probably could have got all of it if I really wanted to. I suppose.
yeah. I think I know what Nathan's getting for Christmas next year.
No. I definitely do not have the space for that. But Lady J,
Lady J, my favorite female.
once again inclined to agree. I text you earlier in the week. I was like, or maybe you and I were talking after an episode of Master Powercast, and I was like, Lady J or Scarlet, and you're like, Lady J. It's like, yeah,
All the way, man. Yeah.
I think as a kid, Scarlet, but as you get older, you're like, Lady J is really hot, and she's has way more of a change of attire throughout.
She does, and she always looks good when she changes attire too.
Yeah.
But this is it's not like the greatest representation of Lady J. Like she's prettier in the comics and in the cartoon, but it's not bad.
It's not it's not terrible, but obviously
the figure is a bit fugly.
Yeah,
as a lot of the women in the GI Joe line were, in the toy line at least, they were not.
Which I don't. As a kid, I didn't own any female Joes. I think that was just because I was like, I don't want the girls.
I don't think I remember wanting Zorana when I saw like Ryan had her, and I think some of the others, but of course I didn't get her. No, wait, I take that back. I think she did give me her Zorana, and then it broke, or gave me one, and I was just happy to have it. I think certain toy lines I'd have been happy. Like if She-Ra figures had been given to me as a kid, yes, fuck yeah, I'd have been about it. GI Joe females, I was not in a place where I was like, I don't want that because it's a girl. Like if I had been given Baroness, Scarlet, Zorana, Lady J, I definitely would have been more welcoming. I don't know if I would play it. It probably would have been my go-to hostage. Like the Joe's got to save,
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and have Lady J kicking Destro's ass. I'm just, as a kid, I just know me, and I don't think I would have done that. Oh, hydrofoil, yeah, based off a Crockett's boat from Miami Vice, man. That's kind of what the inception was for this boat. I do know that.
And you have this complete.
I do have the complete. Yes, I do. It cost me a pretty penny, but I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Like it's a masterpiece.
And I also know really nothing about this character either.
With the lamprey?
Yeah,
just the driver. That's about it. But it's where it can house so many GI Joes, and I think I've got. I had an original lamprey with it, and I have like a recolored, because they would re-release figures with different color schemes, and I have another lamprey with a different color scheme sitting in the adjacent cockpit seat. Oh, one of my absolute fucking favorites, man. Yeah,
the stunt man turned Joe.
Yeah, dude.
Who's left stranded because he's filming a commercial, and the director is taking all of his equipment and his money and just bounced house. So he decides to join a GI Joe. He's the impressionist. He likes to do
loves movie quotes. He's a big movie fanatic. So that alone, but him being like, I think he was my early, because I didn't get to see as much of Snake Eyes as a child, like when I was real little. So Quick Kick was like the guy who does karate. So I was always drawn to him. Like it was a big deal if he showed up in any episode to me.
It's kind of amazing the popularity of Snake Eyes. Granted, when you see him in that first, he's not really there that much.
No, he's not, and used very minimal.
Yeah,
in the entire series. Whereas the comic book, he becomes one of the biggest stars. I mean, if not the biggest star of the entire comic book series. Where he may not be in every single issue, but he's in the vast majority of them.
Yeah, it's kind of the Wolverine effect.
He very much is, and some of the best stories are told around him. And how they decided, like, we're not going to push this intensely popular character. Even when the movie comes out, he's barely in it and gets smacked around by one of the Royal Guards. Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. And they're releasing multiple Snake Eyes throughout this entire line. And
it's
even the Deke show, he's not really featured much in that show either.
Yeah, it's strange to think about. For me as a kid, I'm like, well, then why was he my absolute favorite as a kid when he's not really around that much. But yeah, Quick Kick kicks ass. He's a fantastic character. I can't remember the episode either, the title of it, but where he kind of falls in love.
Oh, Lasers in the Night.
Yeah, Lasers in the Night.
Yeah, I need to get that card on a shirt from 80s T because I love Quick Kick so much.
That's
I would love to have made him he just seems like a natural fit, but he's killed off in the comic book, so I would love to make him like a member of Ninja Force.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, him and Budo, the samurai from 1988, like make them like additions and keep in with Jinx, of course. You know, make Scarlet, you know, Storm Shadow, Snake Eyes, Nunchuck, and you can, you know, I don't mind Dojo and Shebang, and then after that, that's it. Everyone that comes after that, I'm just like, nah, I don't see like that. It's that core group that was introduced in the comic books, and that first wave is what I see Ninja Force. But Quick Kick and Budo, I just feel like I would want to see them as added to this expanded faction of martial arts with the Joes.
Yeah, because it would be a good parallel shift. And we should also say in this that we are both big fans of Ninja Force.
Oh God, yes, absolutely. At least the first wave of Ninja Force. I carry a big torch for.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that was the time period too for me. I remember specifically getting the vast majority of those, Snake Eyes specifically, when I had my tonsils taken out. So that was like, as I'm recovering from that, I got that Snake Eyes, which my Snake Eyes has a defective foot, and it's like just way smaller.
I've seen that one, yeah, because you still have it, yeah.
It's actually like sitting on the top shelf over there with some of my vintage shows, because I absolutely loved that figure as a kid. But that first wave of Ninja Force got most of that around that time that I got my tonsils taken out. So I always associate them with a weird time as a kid, which I only remember the figures. I don't really remember much of the recovery, which Mom tells me it was absolutely terrible for me. But Ninja Force, getting the tonsils taken out. Quick Kick, he's a great character. There's not really much else to say about him other than he kicks ass. It sucks that he gets killed off in the comics, though.
Yeah,
that kind of bums me out.
And
not looking forward to that part.
No, but it's Doc gets killed at the same time, along with I think Crankcase and some others that were just not being used in the line that much, And that was a call by Larry Hama. I need to be able to kill people in the comic to show the repercussions of war, like people aren't dying.
Mm-hmm.
And the cartoon sure as hell was not going to show that. So
no,
Larry's like, we're gonna do this. And I think one of the few issues I had was the aftermath, like the issue after the Saw Viper just wipes out like a bunch of the Joes. I had the issue after that, and then another character, a made up character for the issue, gets killed off. So another guy bites the dust in like in this same storyline. So, and it didn't register to me either, this guy gets killed. But during that time frame, several Joes will die off and stay dead,
Bring them back as ghosts.
Yeah. Ripper. Love Ripper. Beautiful artwork there too, man.
Is there, in your opinion, a weak link in the Dreadnought faction?
I don't see it, because I pretty much tend to see them all as equals. And like obviously you have Zartan, and I consider Zartan and Zoran to be the smartest of it, and then everyone else below them, like Monkey Wrench, Thrasher, Road Pig, Ripper, Buzzer, and Torch. Even like Zanzibar, which I think he's almost like kind of, I don't know how celebrated he is with a lot of other Joe fans. I always thought he was cool because of the eye patch, but he's got a cool look to him, but I think a lot of that stems too from just much like, unfortunately, like Ninja Force. Those later figures coming out, a lot of people shit on it just because it's like, what are they doing to my G.I. Joe? Yeah. But I still don't see a weak link. They're all like essentially brutes. They're out for chaos and destruction. Like and they love their grape soda and chocolate donuts.
Yep. And they're ready to just whoever's the highest bidder.
Yeah.
That's where they're going to
mainly go. Cobra tends to keep them, Cobra Command tends to keep them on the payroll pretty consistently.
Yeah.
But they're such a great visual, and knowing that they never came out with bikes, like no motorbikes, for these guys. They had, the Dreadnought Cycle that came out in '87, which was like this big, like, 3-wheel motorbike with like a turret on the back. But like, no, when you see visuals like in the comic books or in the cartoon, they're on motorcycles. It's like they never had a toy for that. I think there was like a Sears exclusive, I think, that had something close. I can't remember right off. And hardcore Joe fans, please forgive me. We do not. Yeah, not going on praise. We do fucking know everything about everything here. So
that's it. Yeah, that was the other thing too. I wanted to specify in this journey is not only am I rediscovering and learning a lot of new information, especially like comic books and stuff like that, but we must stress that Tyler's not the end-all be-all expert of G.I. Joe. There's going to be some stuff that he just doesn't know about, or it's like, oh, I forgot about this or whatever.
Yeah. So. But I own all my mistakes. So Joe fans out there, great respect to people who my sole focus was always learning, more and more about He-Man and G.I. Joe, trying to cram as much shit in here about, Thundercats and G.I. Joe and Turtles and, it's throwing in Transformers on top of that too. Like, Jesus Christ.
It's a lot of names to remember.
Yeah. I would have been all about having this figure as a kid because I did truly fucking love Shipwreck as a child.
I mean, he's very toyetic.
Yeah.
But as an adult, and you watch the cartoon, Shipwreck is kind of annoying.
My bones for Davy Jones. That Jack Nicholson last detail, which, I love Jack Nicholson, but it's just his character's just written just be this kind of like, oh, shut the fuck up, Shipwreck. Yep.
And then even Polly gets pretty annoying at times.
Yeah.
It's
a little when Polly became humongous and Cobra Claus is coming to town.
No, I fucking hated that. I get it, but watching it's like the one character that we got to do this with has to be Polly, huh? Small doses. When I think of Shipwreck and Polly, small doses is what comes to mind. That's how they work best. I mean, The title of the episode, once again, escapes me, but when Shipwreck falls in love with Mara.
Yes.
I like the idea of that and the premise of that. And seeing that is a lot of fun. And then when we have the episode, it's the 2-parter at the end of season 1. Springfield is in the title. Mm-hmm. So forgive me, Joe fans. I like the premise of that Cobra has captured Shipwreck. And they're making him think that years have passed. Joseph disbanded. Lady J died. All this stuff. When all the shit goes down and he's drowning. He's got him and Mara got married and they have a kid, but he has amnesia and he can't remember. I'm like, this is actually like pretty great stuff and very dastardly shithead stuff that Cobra's doing to someone.
Yeah.
Mind fuck manipulation, right? But why did it have to be Shipwreck? It could have been literally anybody else. I'm like, why does it have to be Shipwreck? Because it's just he can't. I don't like the episodes where he takes a bigger focus.
Yeah.
Just because he just wears you down with the shit he says and the way he says it. And yeah I love his look.
He's a blowhard. I love the look too, but
yeah,
and I like his second look when he's given like the Navy SEAL like outfit. Like that looked fucking badass. Like that's the Shipwreck I wish I would have had as a kid too. And that's a great look for the character. But taste just changed the character. But he's another character like you. He's a staple. You have to have Shipwreck. He's just make him more likable. but the card arts, oh boy, here we go. This is
version 2. Version 2 of Snake Eyes with Timber.
And my absolute favorite version of Snake Eyes, which I think that's the consensus amongst most Joe fans. Maybe they might go with version 1 over version 2, but
no, I think version 2 is the one that really nailed it. I mean, I like them all, but
there's not a bad Snake Eyes version in the Vengeance line. None.
How'd you feel about the animal pack-ins? Grant, there's like no paint detail on
I'd have been cool with that. And I that's some of them are kind of like I don't know if I kind of buy that, but with Snake Eyes and his companion being Timber the Wolf, that you you see a shot of a wolf with him in the comics, and of course he's in the cartoon as well on a few occasions, and I'm down with that. But I feel like it's something that you don't want to see Snake Eyes show up in every scenario, and there's Timber with him, like a dynamic duo kind of thing. But just an animal companion that he's befriended in his time on his own. Like, yeah, I buy that, and
Well,
they make for a great visual when you see the two of them together.
Yeah.
Whether it's the statues that they put out of like Timber and Snake Eyes together, or just the artwork, Timber and Snake Eyes. Like, I accept that. Like, there's like, obviously you got Mutt and Junkyard, Law and Order, that goes without saying. But then you got some of the others like Spearhead. I think Spearhead and Max, where it's like him and a bobcat.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think some of the other. There's some others that come with like
Naugahyde comes with
Naugahyde, yeah.
With a hog.
Yeah. And then Dusty, like second version Dusty, comes with a oh god, I forgot what he comes with. He comes with an animal companion too, and I think Deep Six Eco Wars comes with a dolphin, I think.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you gonna if you're not playing with him in water and you got this fucking dolphin? Like, what are you doing? It's like, oh, we got to save this beach dolphin or something. Like, what the fuck?
Cobra's captured this dolphin. It on his head.
Yeah, I mean, in the miniseries, it was wonderfully done when Snake Eyes comes across and helps Timber out and caught in the trap.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So that was.
So I'm all about Snake Eyes and Timber as being like, if we're gonna have, and of course Shipwreck with Polly, like him having a pet bird, I'm cool with that. It's nothing gets more badass than Snake Eyes and Timber though.
What about Spirit and Freedom? Freedom's pretty.
Oh, yeah, I stand corrected. Yeah, Spirit and Freedom. That's another. Like, I can't believe I drew a fucking blank because I fucking love Spirit. So,
I dare say, I would say, like, companion wise, I would probably put Freedom over Timber, maybe.
Okay.
Because I think, Freedom, I could see being able to like be around more, whereas much like you said with Timber, it's like I feel like you really had to pick and choose.
You had to be in that environment, like, even though you'll see him accompanying Snake Eyes and Freedom, accompanying Freedom and Spirit on to assault Dr. Lucifer's castle and Cobra's creatures.
Yeah,
they're there, and you just accept it. But is logically, yeah, like Timber would not be around for every adventure that Snake Eyes is going on. It just just make a great visual for those environments. Snow Serpent, one of the few, I think, vintage figures I did own, or as a hand-me-down, which I just didn't come with any weapons, man. But boy, I fucking loved playing with them, though.
Yeah,
great visual.
Yeah. Once again, they nailed it with all this stuff. It's like, yeah, we're gonna make them look like that, make them so toyetic that the kids they want to buy this.
I mean, you don't see any eyes inside the mask. It's like just faceless, no expression, just mindless evil with the Snow Serpent, man.
See, now reaching a point where it's like, fuck, am I gonna end up buying these and army building a little bit?
I was gonna say, you need to just pick one and devote that to army building, because
man, you got. Do you have a set number in your head when you've done army building? You're like, five's not enough, maybe 10, a little less, 7.
I think I have 9 range vipers, and I think I have 8 or 9 night creepers, and I've got 6 strato vipers, 2 laser vipers. And I still want to buy, like, I want to have like a full set of 10 range vipers, 10 night creepers, 10 strato vipers.
See?
Yeah,
just stick to one. I mean, what are you talking about?
Because I was trying to talk to you before. I'm like, you're like, I don't know. Like, well, just pick one. Then it snowballs after that.
Well, speaking of vipers, we have the
Tele Viper. Yeah. Beautiful artwork depicting that particular one.
Yeah. I love the purples and blues. You can just see him sitting at like a little computer at a command center place.
Mm-hmm.
Here we have a toll booth with the bridge layer, which is awesome. I love the bridge layer.
Yeah, that's a beautiful vehicle, man.
Yeah,
and he's got. I like the hard hat on him. I mean, it's just a very distinct look for him. Like just a definitely comes. Someone who's going to be driving that particular vehicle is just someone you do not want to fuck with.
Yeah. and not really used too much in the cartoon.
No.
A couple of occasions you see it. I think it's used briefly in 2 episodes, and there's a major focus on the one where the crystals are expanding, and like if they vibrate too much, they blow up. So they use this to bridge the gap. That's where you see it mostly done in a way that's kind of gives it some time. Everything else is like, oh, we need to get across there, and you see like 2 seconds and it's done. So yeah, this would be a fun toy to have. See, now I just wish I had the space. So it's like much like your little setups, set up like these scenarios. It's like, here's the bridge layer. It's got to go across this gap, and there's like this big cavernous thing. We have Cobra on the other side. And what are they doing? Who fucking knows? But we got to do this to get over there and stop them.
Let's see this. Oh, I did have Zaymont. Zaymont was also another like given to me by Ryan, and I don't know why she was like, here, you can have Zaymont. I'm like, I have one of the Crimson Twins. You know, just to have one of them. And that I did hold on to that one for a long time in childhood because I was so proud to have one of the twins. Yeah.
How do you feel about the gimmick of they feel each other's pain? So
I would have gotten rid of that immediately. I think it's just one of those stereotypical things that they say about twins. Like, you can maybe use it sparingly, but I feel like it gets overused so much where you're just kind of killing their credibility, because they come off oftentimes as very smug and intelligent and very formidable villains. But when you smack one and suddenly Zamont's like, oh my God, my brother's in pain. I guess.
They get dispatched pretty easily.
And I
kind of counterweighs what you see like elsewhere, where there's like, oh, we're running our enterprise right here. We're secretly funding this and doing this shady shit right here, or being forthright with it and being smug, as you said. And nope, one gets kicked in the stomach. The other one's like, oh, there was an instance in one episode where one of them got hit, and I'm like, oh, well, they're not showing this one doubled over in pain. I'm like, oh, they missed that, and then they come back around to it. I was like, oh, all right, there it is. But yeah, I'm with you. That should have just been a one and done. I would have never mentioned it again.
Keep them as smart and intelligent and just don't go down that stereotypical route with them as twins. They look so impressive together in their outfits, and when they're in their dress, for business at extensive enterprises. Like, I don't like to see them as anything less than like, very intelligent villains.
Mm-hmm. And I like the fact too that they came packaged together.
Yeah, it was. It'd have been so great to have found that or been given that as a kid.
Well, because they could have easily just been like, no, you have to buy them separately.
Yeah,
if you want both of them. But it was good on them for putting them both
together.
Together.
And they did that with the Crimson Twins. Why couldn't they have done that with any of the Army Builders?
That would have been. Yeah, you could have. Here's a 3-pack.
Yeah,
even a 2-pack.
Yeah, just a double 2-pack.
I would have preferred 3.
Well, yeah, three's better than 2, of course, but
Well, here's your favorite.
Here's my favorite. Torch. Yeah, fucking rocks, dude. Just so kick ass. I love his glasses there. It's just, he just him on a Harley, or all the Dreadnoks on bikes. Just great unique visuals. Like they're all cut from the same cloth, but they have their very distinct look, not just because of their weapon, but just visually. They just. Mm-hmm. They all wear sunglasses, and they all look like they probably smell like onions. But
I mean, they just look like an '80s rock and roll band.
Yeah,
when they're all together, man.
Just a classic looking biker, with like the chain with the skull, and guys.
Which is probably why they were like, you know what, this would make sense if we just take the Dreadnoks and have them pose as this band that's got that has the subliminal messaging to it. Which another outrageous plot. I'm like, you know what? I can kind of buy into this a little bit, even if
I remember when I heard about
goofy.
That episode was the Wizard magazine or Toy Fair magazine. They were hyping it up, like, oh my God, this is the Greatest Joe episode. So when I finally found it, came across this episode, fucking sucks.
I didn't mind it that much. I didn't think it was that bad at all. Here is version 2 of Tripwire that comes with the listen and fun.
Quite drastic and not a flattering look for the character.
Yeah, because I mean, you look.
You look at the card art, that looks great, and then you get this like, what the hell happened here?
Yeah, Well, it is version 2 after all.
Version
So
2, but they could have reversed the colors instead of green with a little bit of gray, do gray with a little bit of green. Or
that probably would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Actually. Tripwire is proficient with all NATO and Warsaw Pact explosives, detonators, and blasting machines. So comes with the Cobra's Revenge tape here. So hours of fun, 30-minute tape cassette with narration, sound effects, and music. I would have been all over that.
Oh, I would have been too. I wouldn't have complained about how he looked or anything like that. It's like, hey, it's
No.
G.I. Joe with the tape.
Absolutely. Or just be like, oh, it's Tripwire. I don't have Tripwire. This is awesome. I guess that's it.
Well, look at that. We just burned right through it all.
I was thinking that there were going to be more. But no, that is it. As far as I know, unless I had some sort of glitch, I will double check. But nope, Tripwire was it. So that was the 1985 wave. A lot of good shit in there. Who's your favorite out of the entire wave? Absolute favorite. Snake Eyes?
Yeah, Snake Eyes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it would probably be mine too. I guess I'll ask this then. If you were only allowed to pick 3 from the wave to buy, which 3? Well, obviously Snake Eyes is one, but what would be
Snake Eyes, Flint, Quick Kick.
Yeah.
How about you? You're giving 3. Are you going with Snake Eyes and Flint?
Snake Eyes. Probably Flint, just because at the same time it's like that's all Joe's. It's like I feel like I would have to toss a
I mean, me too, but I'm thinking like I desperately wanted Quick Kick so bad as a kid, and I didn't have Snake Eyes until Ninja Force Snake Eyes came out. So
yeah. All right, let's change it again. Let's 5. Let's extend it to 5.
All right. Then I'm going with Flint, Snake Eyes, Quick Kick, Buzzer,
Torch. Or
yeah, you know what? Buzzer and Torch. Yeah, that'll be my 5.
I gotta throw Shipwreck in there. I'm kidding. I don't know. Like Alpine would probably sneak his way in.
Alpine would have been probably if I was given.
But I don't. But yeah, I don't know though, because you think about it, and it's like this is essentially like the core of the Dreadnoks that are out in this wave.
Yeah,
that's a tough choice. You know what? Let's do 10. No, I'm kidding. There's only 26 in there. You're pretty much getting half the wave almost at that point.
Let's just say I'd have been happy to have any of them. You know?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how I was as a kid. It didn't matter who it was. I'm just like, it's another G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
It's for me to admire the card art and the excitement of clipping out the file card and putting them in my little container that I still have.
I wish I never even thought about doing that as a kid.
That was all Dad's idea. He was like, oh, you can clip these out. You should we'll put them, they're file card size. We'll get you a little file card container that you can put them in. That way you could just sit and flip through them all the time and look at them. And when I started reading a little bit more, like reading those and everything, yeah, it was good. I'll pull those out on a future episode and we'll just go through them all and I'll just hold them up to the camera and we can just talk about each character. I'll make sure to make a point though to have them organized in a way to where I'm like, oh, this is version 3 of this character. Or this is, I'll try to organize them by wave, do it by year and get them that way. It's like, all right, here's this pile, this pile, this pile. Cause a lot of it's going to be newer stuff in that time frame. Unfortunately, like I said before, I wish I had more access to getting like 85, 86, going 83, 84, but that just wasn't the case. A lot of times for us, it was just coming across those figures at flea markets and yard sales. And I think by that point, either we weren't coming across them or the interest was waning, whatever it may have been. But yeah, I guess now's the time for me to remedy all that, right? And just dive into the vintage Joe collecting. We'll see how that goes. Like I have all the Dreadnoks up there, and I have Chuckles and Major Blood. I think I have. I got Wild Bill. Who else I got up there? I got a few more up there. I sent you a picture of it, but yeah, that was 1985 wave. Let's go ahead. Let's take a commercial break, and we'll come back. And you have a questionnaire for me.
I do have a questionnaire for you. That's how we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap that up because since this is the first episode, we don't have any feedback to go over yet. So I'm looking forward to when we do that on episode 2. But yeah, let's take a break. We'll be back right after this.
Stay tuned.
He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble.
Are those the new Joes, Destro?
Yes, Commander.
Who's on the watchtower?
That's the Jungle Trooper. Codename Rakundo.
And manning the howitzer?
That's the Flamethrower. Codename Blowtorch. And the Halo Jumper. Codename Ripcord.
Who's by the bivouac?
That's the Dog Handler. Codename Mutt. And his dog Junkyard.
They've not seen the last of Cobra.
Watchtower, Howitzer, Bivouac, and G.I. Joe figures each sold separately from Hasbro.
Jump aboard the USA Cartoon Express and join the fight.
Yo, Joe!
The fight's the right. The fight against the bad dudes.
Employ extreme measures if necessary.
I do whatever it takes to put these guys away.
So all we have to do is take out 150 rocket sites before dawn.
With G.I. Joe, I do more in the morning than most kids do all day.
Excellent.
It's awesome action on the USA Cartoon Express, weekday mornings at 7:30.
No prison can hold Cobra.
Is there a prison big enough, strong enough to hold the Cobra Commander? He's the enemy. He's escaping. He's the enemy of G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe, American hero, fighting Cobra and Destro. Our new team is ready, Commander.
No, Destro, not quite.
What does Cobra Commander mean? Find out in the further adventures of G.I. Joe from Marvel Comics.
And we're back. All right, Tyler, you got this questionnaire for me that you told me about before we started recording, and immediately I was like, oh no, it's like a quiz, and I'm going to like fail miserably.
No, nothing like that. I call it the dossier on Nathan Kennedy.
All right.
All right, we got 15 questions, and we do it rapid fire, whatever comes to mind.
Okay.
But just these are fun questions, and
All
listeners, I encourage you to answer these same questions too in the comments, and give us your thoughts on these same ones. Number 1, favorite Joe.
Oh man. As of right now. All right, childhood Snake Eyes. Right now, currently Flint.
Okay. Favorite Cobra member.
Oh, Destro.
Favorite Cobra infantry, like the Vipers or troops, like all the various troop battles that Cobra has.
Probably Crimson Guard.
Okay. Favorite episode.
See, I'd have to look at an episode list. Rapid fire. Come on, man. You know I wasn't gonna be able to rapid fire.
You can go ahead and say the Funhouse.
No, I mean that one's good, but I don't think that one.
The Traitor.
That one would be up there. I'll pull up the episode. Hit me with the next question. And we'll come back to that one.
Favorite Joe leader.
Oh, Flint.
Yep. All right. Are you Team Cobra Commander or Team Serpentor?
I'd say for now Cobra Commander because I need to finish I need to finish those 25 episodes of season 2. That could change, but for now Cobra Commander.
Favorite vehicle.
Probably the Rattler.
Okay. Favorite playset.
See, I didn't really have any of them as a kid, though. So
well, it's okay. Just one from a visual standpoint that you like. Yeah, that looks the coolest.
Probably the Terror Drome.
Okay. Storm Shadow, Joe or foe? Like you prefer him as a member of G.I. Joe or as a member of Cobra?
Member of Cobra.
Okay. Favorite G.I. Joe memory?
Oh man. Probably watching the '87 movie in parts when they would play it on TV.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and playing
with the
with
Sergeant Slaughter bumpers.
Yep, and just having my figures and like recreating some of the stuff of the movie and like taking some other characters and kind of improvising a little bit, but also kind of like playing along with the movie. So when like guys are getting punched and stuff, I'm like pretending I'm getting punched.
Yeah,
and just like I'm interacting with the movie in like an odd way as a kid. I mean, that's what kids do.
Favorite Dreadnought?
I mean, overall, probably Zartan.
Okay. Favorite Lady Joe?
Oh, Lady J.
Lady J.
Easy.
Favorite Cobra Commander attire? You want the battle mask, the hood, the battle armor, or one of the other versions that came out in the 90s?
I'm kind of more partial to the helmet over the hood.
Okay. So that was about the helmet as a kid. And then as an adult, I think I appreciate more of the hood. But
I like that he switches back and forth.
I do too. Yeah.
But I think overall I'm gonna go with the helmet.
Okay.
They're both great, but I'm gonna go helmet.
All right, helmet. Least favorite Joe?
Lifeline.
Least favorite Cobra member?
Oh.
And if you don't have one, you don't have to pick one.
Yeah, there weren't really any of them that came to me. I was like, nah.
Yeah, same for me. Yeah, I agree.
Because I was just thinking of some of the episodes. I mean, one could argue that just based off of his, and you see it happen in the cartoon, one could argue maybe Cobra Commander, just because he's always just doing all this stupid shit and everyone's getting tired of it. And he starts to wear things like, oh, we've lost this. You spent all this money. We're broke now because of you. So one could argue Cobra Commander's like.
See, in that regard, I'd probably say Serpentor.
Once again, once I get through season 2 and watching that and getting a better handle on him in my adult years, then I would maybe swing that way too. I'll come back to a couple of those. I'm looking at the episode list now. Which one is my favorite? The Great Alaskan Land Rush. No, that's not it. Real quick too, just because I'm looking at it. What is your opinion on the October Guard?
I've always been kind of indifferent to them. I've never been excited to see them. They're just kind of, in my opinion, I just have always seen them as just they're there. They're but there's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah, there's fun banter between the two groups.
But they're not I want figures of them or I want to see more of them, because they're not as visually striking as like the other G.I. Joes. But I'm cool with having Russia, having members of their own G.I. Joe team, and incorporating them. Much like you have Big Ben in the 90s is he comes over from England and joins the Joe team. So I'm all for G.I. Joe starts expanding internationally, and you've got people from all over the world, not just different ethnicities who are born in America, but people from different countries are all joining up to battle this massive world terrorist organization. It makes sense for the world to all get involved. People from South America, Russia, various parts of Europe, Asia, Africa. The Cobra would be starting shit all over the place.
Man, just looking through this, there's just I'm not gonna say they're my favorite by any means, but Flint's Vacation was fun. I'm not saying that's the one that the Viper is coming, I thought was kind of clever.
That was a fan favorite of me and my brothers as a kid. We just fucking loved that.
Yeah, that's got a lot of good stuff in it.
Yeah, it was a fun mystery. Then you finally realize what it was. Like, oh, they got me on.
Yeah, I like that. Oh shit, dude. Because I watched so many of them just like back to back to back.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to remember too, like the Game Master, and it's like, oh, that one was interesting because you had Flint, Lady J, Cobra Commander, and the Baroness having to work together.
The episode with a great premise, but baddie as shit.
Yeah. Well, I was Funhouse is your favorite, like absolute favorite?
It's probably that or Cobra's Creatures. I just have a strong affinity for that because I remember having so much fun watching. It was a big deal when the Funhouse would air on TV because me and my brother both would just light up when it's the Funhouse episode. And yeah, the premise is out there, but
yeah,
it's still an episode I have a lot of fun. But Cobra's Creatures, it's a toss up between those two. I just like immediately those are my two favorite go-tos.
I was actually Cobra's Creatures is probably that'll be my answer for now, I think, overall.
Well, and just seeing like Spirit and Snake Eyes making an assault on the Spanish castle in the middle of the night to save Scarlet and Ripcord.
Well, that's one of my favorite parts about those first like handful of episodes is just you talked about this earlier where you were disappointed that it was Spirit and Storm Shadow kind of feuding with one another. Mm-hmm. And it's awesome watching the back and forth between the two, and just the fact that Storm Shadow saying like, no, this is not how I want this to happen. We will fight at a later time. Just having, even though he's on Cobra, still having like that code of honor to him. Yeah. That it's like, no, if I'm going to win, I want to do this the right way, even if I am on the other side. So yeah, Cobra's Creatures, I think. But then again, like next time I'll do a better job looking through everything and just be like, So that'll be interesting to see as we start to review episodes, me rewatching them again, if my opinion's going to change from the first time I watched them. Because there are a few when you go through that kind of think it back, blend together. I will say this. My least favorite episode is the Greenhouse Effect. That one fucking sucks.
Yeah.
That one is terrible.
And I've only watched it once, and I just know I didn't like it, and I don't remember it. It's like, this is a fucked up episode, and I have no desire to watch this again.
So we'll see you on episode 2, where we review. No, I don't want to do that on episode 2. But actually, what we are going to do for episode 2 will be an episode review, and it's going to be Countdown for Zartan, which is the first episode that takes place after the 2 miniseries. So we get to see how the Dreadnoks made it out of the garbage container that was floating in space at the end of Pyramid of Darkness. And so with that, Tyler, our mission is over, but the battle rages on. I hope everyone liked this episode. Make sure you leave us a comment down below. I'll put the questionnaire that Tyler did in the I'll pin it at the top of the comment section, so you can like kind of copy and paste that and put your own answers down there. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We hope everyone out here enjoyed us talking some G.I. Joe. Hope you enjoy watching Master Powercast and watching us talk about Masters of the Universe and She-Ra and everything in between. And if we get into it, maybe some spinner rack coverage that we do periodically, talking about some random comic books. So for whatever reason, the algorithm put you here, and this is the first thing that you're watching on this channel, I hope you go and check out all the other stuff that we have there waiting for you. So make sure you do all that stuff. And until the next transmission,
stay frosty.
Thanks for watching, everyone.